What is up, everyone? Today, me, Adam, Jason, we're going to be covering The Who, my all-time
There we
favorite
are.
my all-time favorite band. We're doing top 5 songs from them. How are you guys doing this fine afternoon? For me, that is. It's an afternoon for me.
Yeah.
Do pretty good. Yeah, do
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's good to hear. So, before we begin, this is the first time we're talking about The Who on my channel. Last time I talked about The Who was on Scott's channel. So, what got you guys into The Who? Like, what was your big moment that made you like, oh, this is a great band?
I'll let you
yeah,
go first, Jason.
yeah. I talked about it on my channel. I think when I was talking about the Who, this on my deep dive, and I probably mentioned it before. But it's funny. Like I used to love watching VH1. That was a big music channel back in the day. I don't know if it's still a thing because you had MTV and you had VH1. But VH1 had a lot of back in the '90s. It had a lot of ranking videos, ranking bands, albums, songs, whatever. I don't know. It just had, I love ranking, so I loved watching VH1 stuff. And I remember seeing a song ranking, and "Won't Get Fooled Again" was like high on a song ranking, like top songs, top 100 songs, or something like that. And I never heard of "Won't Get Fooled Again" or The Who. And I remember being like, "Who's this?" And my dad was like, "Oh yeah, this is great rock band," and all this, and my dad told me about it because he was a fan of some of their music back in the '60s, '70s, whatever. And so that's why I kind of learned about him. And my dad bought Tommy, Who's Next, and a Greatest Hits album on CD, and we used to listen to it in the car. And Tommy was the first album I listened to of The Who, which I said in my video. Tommy's not the album I would. It's not the one I would. What's the word? Tell someone to listen to first. It's not my recommend. I wouldn't recommend someone listen to the album first necessarily, but at the same time, it's one of their big albums, and I listened to it and I thought it was great. As a young teenager, listening to the album, and it's so much different than a lot of the other albums. And then I listened to Who's Next, and I thought Who's Next was great, and then I listened to the Greatest Hits album, and that's what got me hooked on the Who as a teenager.
Okay, how about you, Adam?
I can't remember the first time I ever heard of the Who, but the first time I ever listened to a Who album was 2 years ago when I first heard Who's Next. But I knew a couple of Who songs before then. I knew Barbara O'Reilly, and I knew My Generation as well. But yeah, it's only been very recently I've been getting into their albums a lot more. I've only heard half their albums. I've got Who Are You to get to next. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so you probably just know their big hits at least.
Yeah, I've got a compilation of theirs behind me.
Okay.
Who 50. Yeah, it's got a lot of their songs on it.
That's a good one.
That's a good way to listen to them. Hear that greatest hits. So many good stuff on there.
Yeah.
As for me, first time I ever heard The Who was Pinball Wizard. Of course, everyone knows Pinball Wizard. It was on the radio. I had no idea who the band was. I just knew Pinball Wizard. My dad's like, oh, it's a story about a kid who goes deaf, dumb, and blind. And I looked up, I'm like, what album is this on? Because this was like when I was a kid before I like really got into albums. And I first heard Tommy and I was just blown away by it. I was like, what is this? This is crazy. And I didn't know, for some reason, I didn't look into the name of the band. I just knew the Pinball Wizard album. That's what I called it, Tommy, Pinball Wizard album. And going into the future, I'm in eighth, ninth grade. I'm in my full on Beatles period where I wasn't listening to anything else but the Beatles. And my dad's like, you gotta get into this band called The Who. And he plays Bob O'Reilly. And I'm like, I love this. This is a great song. And I look up what album is this on, and it was Who's Next. And that album blew me away, and I'm like, and then when I found out Pinball Wizard was by the Who, I'm like, oh my god, this is the Who, and
Mm-hmm.
I just rediscovered Tommy again. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the album I heard when I was a kid, and I'm like, it's cool rediscovering that, and I got into the albums again, and I got into the albums like My Generation, A Quick One, and this is just the band that just means so much to me. They're
Mhm.
my all-time favorite band now. I don't think they'll ever change, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But before we begin, we're gonna get into. First, I'll say what the order is. Adam will go first. Jason will go second. I'll go last. We'll give our honorable mentions first. So
I've got a lot of them.
yeah. So Adam, what's your honorable mentions?
Well, I've actually written down my top 15 Who songs. So I'll just quickly go through with number 15 to number 6. So when number 15 is The Kids Are All Right, which is my favorite song of my generation.
Okay.
My number 14 is 1921.
Okay.
My number 13 is my favorite song from Tommy, and that's Pinball Wizard. My number 12 is Getting in Tune from, of course, Who's Next. Quite underrated one in my opinion. My number 11 is one of the songs that I think should have been on the Who's Next, and that's Joined Together.
Joy Together.
Yeah.
That's a non-album single.
I said I don't know that one. Okay.
Well, number 10 and 9 are both from the Who by Numbers. So my number 10 is They Are All in Love. And number 9 is Imagine a Man. And number 8 and 7 are both from Nick's favourite album, The Who Sell Out. My number 8 is I Can't Reach You.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one a lot.
Yeah.
My number 7 is I Can See for Miles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my number 6. Back to Who's Next with Bargain. The best I ever had. Yeah.
Well, those are good honorable mentions. Jason, what are your honorable mentions?
Well, I yeah, a lot of those are my honorable mentions. Definitely Kids Are All Right off of the first album, definitely on there. I put I Can't Explain. I think it's a really good. That was their first big hit. I think it's a really good song. Yeah, I Can See for Miles, definitely good song. It's hard. Yeah, Tommy's. There's so many good songs, but it's hard for me to pick out one. I mean, I can pick out one, but the album just flows together so well. It's hard to pick out individual ones, but like 1921's great. The finale, the See Me, Hear Me, Feel Me, that part is so good.
Oh yeah, we're not going to take it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna take it. Cousin, the Cousin song. I don't know. There's something.
Kevin. Oh yeah, I love
Kevin
that song.
Cousin. Yeah, Cousin Kevin.
Yeah, the bully. Yeah, Who's Next? There's some good stuff there. Right in Tune, like you said, is so good. Behind Blue Eyes, Bargain, some really great songs there. Yeah, Who by Numbers, I would say Imagine a Man. I love that song. That's a great song there. And then Guitar and Pen is so good. I love Guitar and Pen. Probably really barely misses out in my top 5 on there. And so, yeah, I'll go. That was probably my honorable mentions.
Great.
Yeah, those
great
are.
choices.
I agree. Those are fantastic choices. Yeah, this was a hard list for me. It's it's like me telling you guys to pick your favorite Beatles song. It's practically impossible. Well, there's obvious choices, and it's the same for the Who. There's obvious choices, but it's hard. It's hard because there's so many good songs by the Who.
I found it a lot harder than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just share my top 10. Well, I'll do a couple of my like Kids Are All Right's great. You guys said it already. I'll go Substitute as well as a honorable mention.
Yeah.
Though those two should. Oh well, Substitute should have been on an album. I'm sad
Yeah.
it wasn't on an album. Even as a Who fan, I still think it should have been on a quick one. That would be
Mhm.
perfect. But number 10, I'm gonna go with the Ox from their debut album.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm so glad Jason highly praised it on the deep dive video.
Yeah.
This is one of my all-time favorite instrumentals.
Mhm.
The only instrumental I like better than this is YYZ by Rush. It's hard, and it's because that track is even more epic.
Yeah.
But to be fair, both are epic and both completely different reasons. Number 9, I'm gonna go with "They Are All in Love" from Who by Numbers. Love that song. Number 8, "Go to the Mirror" from Tommy.
Mhm.
Me and Scott's favorite song from that album. Number 7, "Relax" from the Who Sell Out. Number 6, "Salad Stingy" from the Who Sell Out. So, Adam, give me your number 5.
Right, it's my number 5. It's the album closer for Who's Next. And that's Won't Get Fooled Again.
Yeah.
The epic album closer. I don't think you can get any more epic than this song, really. Especially for an album closer. It's a perfect rock song. It is quite a long song, but I don't think it overstays its welcome. It's got fantastic instrumentation throughout. It's got the best rock vocal scream from any song. The way that Daltrey just belts out just all the vocals in it. But I think his screaming in it is probably the best part of the whole song.
I agree.
I love the synthesizer in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a perfect song, but there's just a few more Who songs I prefer than this one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is.
All right. My number 5, I'm going with one of the first big hits, and that's "My Generation," off of their first album, "My Generation," named off the album. It was their second big hit that they did after "I Can't Explain," and but it was their biggest hit at that time. I think it went like number 2 or something like that in the UK, and it was their highest.
Jason.
Single. I don't think they ever had number 1.
Yeah.
My Generation was like the highest single they ever had, which is crazy because they should have had a bunch of number 1s. But it's iconic, and I still love it. And it's, to me, one of the greatest rock songs of the '60s period. I think it came out in '65, so we're still kind of early in the rock period. I feel like where we haven't gotten into the heavy psychedelic era yet, and for that time period, I mean, the drums. I mean, Keith Moon's drum playing is just absolutely fantastic. Why he's one of the greats. It's really quick drumming, and Entwistle's bass playing. I mean, it's one of the first songs you hear that the bass feels like the lead in the song, and has kind of it's almost a back and forth between the bass and the guitar, with Townsend doing his dan 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 boom 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 boom, and it's like, oh man, it's incredible, like the two together. And then Daltrey's vocals are just, that's really where he really took over as just one of the great rock singers, with the stuttering and just the "people try to tear us down, talking about my I mean, it's so great. And then it has one of the greatest rock lyrics of all time. "I hope I die before I get old." I still think that's one of my favorite lines of all time. Anyways, but yeah. So yeah, My Generation, number 5.
That's a great choice. My number 5 is going to be the opening song to Who's Next. That's going to be Bob O'Reilly. Yes. Whenever I think about that song, I think about my New York Rangers, because they play that song.
Rangers.
They play that song when they come out of when the game's about to start. Every time I think about that song, I think about them and their awesome season that they're having so far this year. So it's not just because of that. It's they have an awesome synth line in the beginning by Pete Townsend. It's just legendary, and it's like a slow build, and then like it's one of those songs where like when it actually happens, when something happens, it's great payoff. Of course, you got that very iconic opening line, "Out here in the fields." You know, you can't. Once you hear that line, you can never forget it. Of course, I fought for my meals. Love that song a lot. Probably my favorite part is the violin part at the end. That just never gets old. The song never gets old. Number 5, Baba O'Reilly. Adam, what is your number 4?
Great choices.
Thank you.
I feel bad that much iteration. It's not in the top 5. It wasn't even one of my honorable mentions either. But
You like the song?
Yeah, I think the song is excellent though. There's so many good songs I love.
Yeah.
But I get to my number 4. It's the album closer for Quadrophenia. That's Love Reign Over Me.
Reign Over Me, yeah.
I think it's just as epic as Won't Get Fooled Again. That I like this song a little bit more than the Won't Get Fooled Again. I think Robert Daltrey does his best vocal performance here, in my opinion. I love the rain effect at the beginning of the song as well, and it's got excellent piano playing, and the song really builds up to something really awesome. Yeah, it's the perfect Who song. What can I say?
Yeah. Can't forget about Keith Moon's drumming at the end of that song.
He's on fire throughout the whole song.
He's just going crazy on the drums. Oh man! All right. Number 4 for me. It's my favorite song off of Tommy. It's the one song I pick out. It's the big one, Pinball Wizard, at number 4. It's like I said, it's hard to pick out a song on the album because it's just a story that flows together, kind of. But Pinball Wizard is definitely the song I can kind of listen on its own and just be like, wow, that's just an amazing rock song. I absolutely love it. It's really that intro, that kind of slow acoustic guitar intro. Dun 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 dun. He does some of the fastest acoustic guitar strumming, Townsend. I just absolutely love that when he gets into that. And then it's like, oh man, what an awesome intro. And then yeah, and again, this Daughtry's so great at coming in with the and there's great guitar riff there when he's does that deaf dumb blind kid sure plays a mean pin, bum 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 bum. It's like, oh my gosh, what a great guitar riff and all that and everything else. And it's interesting song, yeah, talking about a kid who is deaf, dumb, and blind, yet is the greatest pinball player. It's such a weird song in a sense, but man, it is so fun to listen to, and yeah, it's an awesome song, Pinball Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Great choices. My number 3 is It in My Head from the Quadrophenia album. This is number 4. But I was so focused on number 3. Number 4 from Quick One, their second album. A quick one while he's away. The 9-minute epic that closes the album. Just an epic way to close out that album. It's Pete Townshend's first operatic sort of themed thing he was going for. It's about a story about a truck driver who isn't home on time, or someone who isn't home on time, and wife ends up cheating on him with the truck driver, and the main character finds out, but all is forgiven. On paper, it's stupid, but the music that's in it is epic. Her man's been gone for many of years. He was still home yesterday, but he ain't here. Her man's been gone for many of years. He was still home yesterday.
It's Nick Sings now.
Yeah, Nick Sings.
If I was singing that one, the video would be here for 9. We would be here for another 9 minutes. But I love that beginning part, and then and then after that, the second movement comes. Ooh. It's like, he's supposed to be home, but he's not home, and it's like, we have a remedy we appreciate. I love that part. I love the part where it's like, we'll soon be home, soon be home, soon be home. I like the Ivor the engine driver part. My name is Ivor. I'm an engine driver. That part was sung by Entwistle, the Ox, my favorite member. I really like that part. My favorite part, though, is like, I can't believe it. Am I back in your arms? It's like a dream to be with you again. And then, like, the wife was like, I have a confession to make. I cheated on you, or she didn't say that, but like, I kissed a few and once did sleep on Ivor the engine's driver's lap. Like I said, all the main character does is just, you are forgiven. You are forgiven. I'm like, I don't think I would feel the same way if I was in that spot.
No.
But hey, some people are a lot better than I am with that. Of course, the iconic cello part where they just say cello, 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 because they didn't have enough money for cellos, so they just said cello over and over, and I'm like, this song is just so good. This is like my generation, the Kids Are Alright and the Ox are like their first like amazing songs, but this is like their first like masterpiece in my opinion. Yeah,
it's my favorite song for that album as well.
Yeah, for me, it's easily the best song on that album.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to my number 3.
3.
Yes.
Now we're going with the album closer. Who's next? Now I'll go with the album opener, Barbara O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Who's next? But it's got a perfect album opener and a perfect album closer.
Yeah.
And all the songs in the middle are just about perfect as well. But yeah, I love Barbara O'Reilly. I think it's fantastic. It's got some of their best lyrics as well. I love the line. I don't need to fight to prove I'm right.
Mm.
I've always liked that bit, and of course I love that Teenage Wasteland part of the song as well. And I love the whole synth sound throughout the whole song. But you would think it might get a bit boring after a while hearing that instrument used, but I'm not bored of it because of everything else going on in the song. But I love the violin part at the end of the song as well. It comes out of nowhere a bit.
Yeah.
But I find it quite a fun part of the song.
Weird when it comes in.
Yeah. And I love that Pete Townsend and Daltrey are both singing lead on this.
Yeah.
Well, mainly Daltrey though. But yeah, that's my number 3.
Yeah, Townsend sings. What does he sing? Yeah, he sings part of it, doesn't he?
He sings the Teenage Wasteland part.
Okay, Teenage Wasteland. Yeah, he sings that part. I am going to agree with Adam. Number 3 for me is Bob O'Reilly, the opener for Who's Next. Yeah, what an amazing opener. I agree with that. The synth. I mean, never really heard the synth like that before until I heard that song. And I was like,
It's very unique.
Very unique. Like it was like the first time really the Who really went into this whole synth thing, and I love it. And yeah, it's a really long intro, but it's so cool. Yeah, he said Daughtry, so great. Yeah, out here in the fields, we fight for our meals. Yeah, amazing vocal performance by him, and then great chorus with that Teenage Wasteland. Some good guitar parts, some good like little guitar licks in there as well. Yeah, it's an epic song. It's got to be I feel like if you're a Who fan, I mean that's got to be one of your top songs.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gotta be in your top five. I feel.
well, yeah, for most, I think it has to be in your top five. It's just too iconic. But yeah,
Hey, so we all have Bob O'Reilly on our top five.
Yeah. we all
Yeah.
got
I'm not surprised about that.
no, yeah,
Definitely not.
Yeah, my number three. Now I'm going in proper order. Number three, Is It in My Head from Quadrophenia. That's my favorite song from that album. I love this song. There's just something about this song really always gets me. It just, is it in my head? Is it in my head? I love the guitar playing on it. I love the bass. I think, but the thing about Quadrophenia is that I feel like each member was at their musical peak on this album. This and Who Sell Out
I
Wide,
can
those
see
are
that.
those are my two favorite Who albums, and I feel like they're at their peak on those two albums. Like where everyone is at their best. Like Keith Moon is absolutely going crazy on the drums. Like he's always amazing on every Who album that he's on. And Whistle goes absolutely nuts on the bass. Roger Daltrey sings amazing on this album, and Pete Townshend's guitar playing is just phenomenal as well. But yeah, this is just an amazing song. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I just think it's an amazing song that's in my number three spots. But yeah,
I've got to check it out again. I've only heard Quadrophenia once.
it's one of those albums that you got to listen to more than once to
Yeah.
fully like it, because it's a double album. It's not as fast moving as Tommy is, so
yeah.
I didn't really like it myself either when I first heard it. So it's one of those
Yeah,
albums that you go,
I'm definitely going to give it another listen at some point.
yeah, definitely do so. That'd be cool. Yeah, I will say my top five. Not one of these songs share the same album. I think actually
That's cool.
there's variety. There's one song from at least one different album.
Mhm.
Most
Yeah.
of mine are from Who's Next.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's my number three though. Is It in My Head?
I'll go on my number two, which is my favorite hit of Who's Next, and that's Behind Blue Eyes.
Oh, okay.
And for a while, this was my favorite Who's song, but it's now a second favorite.
Okay.
I've got a different one as my favorite, but yeah, I think it's a fantastic song. I think it's a very powerful song as well. I love all the vocals on it from Pete Townsend. Yeah, he does one of his best vocal performances on this one. It's got some of my favorite Who lyrics in general. I do really like that it gets rocky towards the end of the song, but if it's being honest, that's probably my least favorite part of the song. But if that part wasn't there, it might be my number one. But I still really do like that the really rocky part towards the end of the song. But yeah, I think my favorite part of the song though is the chorus. I find it really catchy, and I love the lyrics on that part. But yeah, that's my second favorite Who song. But for a while, it was my favorite.
Wow. So yeah, you got the three big songs right now off of Who's Next, I would say, and
Yeah, they all be in the top five.
yeah, three of them in your top five, and yeah, Behind Blue Eyes is. I think the other two are kind of the bigger hits, but Behind Blue Eyes is like a third kind of hit, I think, off the album. So that's cool. You got that in there. All right, number two for me is the closer to "Who Are You," and it's the song "Who Are You."
My name's Nick. Who are you?
Who? Yeah, this song definitely lately has just really skyrocketed up my list. When I listen to that album, like every song is great on that album, and that second side has some of my favorite Who songs on it. Guitar and Pen.
To Get the Light.
Yeah, the other two I'm forgetting. I have the list, but
Love Is Coming Down.
Love's Coming Down. Yeah, I mean, and they're not songs you ever hear on the radio or songs you would ever know unless you listen to the album. And you're going, wow, this is incredible. And then they hit you with the best song on the album. I mean, it's such a great way to close that album after, like, wow, these are so many great rock songs. And then you go, Who Are You? So epic. And just that, like, love the sound of the guitar on here and that intro and how they get right into it. And the drumming is absolutely fantastic on the cymbals. And then the Who Are You? Who? It's so catchy. It's so iconic. You know, a lot of these songs become really iconic because of CSI, every CSI show, which there's a bunch of them. They all have a Who song at the intro. And Who Are You is such a great intro to, I don't know which CSI, but it's such a great intro to one of the CSI. Because, man, it really sets a tone. You know, when you hear that, you're like, oh, man, I'm ready for something. But, yeah, just the backing vocals, Daughtry's rocking, just totally killing on his vocal part. Who are you? Who the F are you? It's like, wow, you're really getting into it, Daughtry. Like, you got some attitude on this song. And then it, just like a lot of the other songs we talked about, it has that epic kind of middle part where, like, it's just instrumental and it's all these different things going on. You got like the synth thing. And it's like, and just I even love just the Who, just them saying the Who, whatever. And you got the ba-bum, 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 bum. That, love that. And then it gets right back into the song. Like, it's like, here's a little detour, and now we're back into the song. It's just epic. One of the greatest rock songs. Who Are You?
Cool. My number 2 is going to be my favorite song from Who Are You, but it's not Who Are You. It's going to be Guitar and Pen, also from side 2. So you share your. It just goes to show how amazing side 2 of Who Are You is.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, Who Are You is like one of the all-time great rock songs, and it's not even in my top 10. So there you go. Going back, I'm gonna kind of bank off what you were saying. Side 2 of Who Are You is probably the greatest side 2 of all albums. It's definitely up there. Trick of the Light, right, like, hits you right in the face, and then Guitar and Pen. Then you got Love Is Coming Down, and then you got the title track. It's like, oh man, like, how can you top that? How can anyone top that? But yeah, Guitar and Pen is awesome. I think the main reason why I like this album a lot, I think Roger Daltrey kills it on the vocals. I don't know what was going on with Daltrey and his vocals around this time, but he's killing it. He's just, normally Daltrey is my least favorite member of these Who albums, but
yeah.
Who Are You is the one case where Daltrey's the best member of that album. Like, he's like the member to look at when you're looking at the album. He's just, oh man, you got something to hide. You can walk, you can talk, you can fight, but inside you've got something to write in your hand. You hold your only friend, never spend your guitar and your pen. Your guitar and your pen. Your guitar or your pen. My favorite part is when you sing through the verse and you end in a scream and you swear and you curse because the rhythm ain't clean. But you suddenly becomes after years of delay. And like, whoa, this is awesome. This is an awesome song. And you know what? I like, this is my second favorite Who song just because of Daltrey. Everyone else is great. Keith Moon, of course, and Whistle, great. Pat Townsend, but Daltrey is just, he's destroying it. I'm like, whoa, Daltrey. I'm like, gotta give you a hats off to that one. Hats off to Roger Daltrey. Yeah,
not to Roy Harper.
Nope, not Roy Harper. Hats off to Roger Daltrey.
Hats off to Roger Daltrey. And if someone's listening to this, Guitar and Pen, I heard that song for the first time, like, just recently, I felt like. And I've been a Who fan my whole life, and I never heard that song until recently. And it's like there's a lot of people out there. If you haven't heard that song, man, you have to listen to Guitar and Pit.
It's just with a song like that on the album and many other great songs on that album, it always pisses me off when people rank this album so low on their list.
Because it only has one big hit on it, and the whole album is great. So yeah. Unlike the Who's Next. Who's Next has like a bunch of hits on it, but Who Are You is kind of underrated, I guess, in that sense.
Who Are You and the Who by Numbers are their two most underrated albums, in my opinion.
Who by Numbers is a really good album. I know Adam said he really liked that album too.
So. Yeah.
Scott doesn't like it.
I recently bought it on vinyl.
Okay.
Literally the day after I first heard it, I bought it on vinyl.
Yeah, Scott doesn't like that album as much.
Lower for him. That's right. Yeah.
But going back to the top 5 list, what's your number 1 Who song, Adam?
Yeah, I'm interested because he already hit some big ones.
It's from Who's Next. I mentioned all the big ones from it.
Yeah,
but it's the song that closes the first side, and it's the song is over.
That's a great song.
Oh,
that's
cool.
my favorite Who song. Yeah,
more lighter song, but
yeah, it's a perfect breakup ballad.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite breakup ballads. It's probably my second favorite after Yes, the Beatles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't until recently I found out that this is my favorite Who song.
Wow.
Yeah, it's from Who's Next. And for a while it was behind Blue Eyes, but yeah, recently it's been the song is over. So I think it's very, very underrated in my opinion. I think Keith Moon does some of his best drumming. I think Pete Townsend got some of his best lyrics here, and I think he does his best vocal performance here as well. But I love that his part of the song is quite sad and melancholic, but you've got Robert Daltrey's part of the song that's quite bright and positive. I like the contrast with those two parts, and I like that the song starts off slow and then goes fast and goes slow again. But it does it in a way where it doesn't sound out of place. But yeah, it's my favorite Who song. That probably will be for a while.
That's cool. That's a great song. I love that song. It's not what I think about usually on Who's Next necessarily, but that's what I love about Who's Next is like that song and Right in Tune, whatever, or more, and Beyond Blue Eyes are like slower. Yeah. They're like slower songs for the Who, and it's so great because you don't get a lot of those slower songs on Who albums, and so it's great when you get them and you're like, oh wow, I love that the contrast, like you said, so good. All right, number 1 for me, if you haven't guessed, it's the big one that I haven't talked about. I think it's number 1 for a lot of people. It's a closer to Who's Next, and that is Won't Get Fooled Again, which Adam had on his list at number 5, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the greatest like closer. I mean, Who Are You is like the second greatest closer. This is the greatest closer, and the album's so awesome because you have the opener, Bob O'Reilly. We all agree is a great opener, and then you got Won't Get Fooled Again, which we agree is a great closer. And it's probably my favorite rock song of all time. And it just shows how great the Who are. You listen to that song, you get exactly why each member is so amazing and how they work together. And the instrumentation is just some of the greatest you'll ever hear. The guitar riffs and everything that Pete Townsend is just absolutely amazing. And it just feels like nothing repeats itself. Everything just seems, it feels like every verse they're playing something almost different. I don't know. It's just like they're going all over the place. Every time I've heard the song so many times, and I still listen to it, and I still get something new out of it. I feel like I hear it and I go, wow, I don't remember that part of the song, and then, or that guitar part, or that bass part, or drum part, you know. But yeah, bass playing is absolutely amazing. It's like you have a lead guitar player in Entwistle playing the bass. He's just playing like the bass, the lead bass on it, while Townsend's playing lead guitar, and then Moon is playing lead drums. He's like, it feels like he's not repeating itself. He's just all over the place on his drum kit, and it's just absolutely amazing. All three instruments together is what's makes Who great. What makes rock and roll great is listen to a song like that, and why I love rock music. And then, as Adam said, you can't deny Daltrey has the greatest scream of all time, and it's the greatest part. I agree. It's a greatest moment in the song. One of the greatest moments in rock history, I think, because you have that great synth comes out of nowhere. You have this synth chorus. I mean, chorus. Sorry, synth solo, and it goes on for a long time. And you're just like, and when's this synth thing going to end? And all of a sudden, you get the drums coming in, the do 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 and the build up. It's just fantastic, that build up to that scream with the synth and the drums, the scream, and then we go right back into the song. And I remember my dad. This is I think my dad's favorite Who song, and this is song was the first song that kind of introduced me to the band. And I remember my dad talking about listening to the song on the radio back in in the 70s, and he had a job. He worked at the same job for like 45 years or something, and he hated his boss. He always hated his boss, and he had because he had kind of just a blue collar factory job, and so the boss was a jerk. And then his boss left, and they got a new boss, and the new boss was a jerk. And so my dad always said he loved the line out with the new or
meet the new boss.
Saying
Yeah, the old boss.
and my dad loved that line. I always remember that story.
Yeah,
He told me
it's a brilliant line.
about getting a new boss, and he's just a jerk too, and he thinks about that song all, and I always think about that song in that way. I haven't had too many terrible bosses really, but I kind of get that from my dad, and it's true sometimes. You think, and I think it kind of points to even I always think of like presidents and like different leaders that you always think, oh, we're going to vote this new guy in, he's going to make a change and he's going to make things better, and then he's in office, then you go, no, he's just as bad as the last guy. Nothing's changed, everything's bad still. Anyways, but I think it's one of the great lyrics. I love that. It's at the very end. It's like it pretty much ends the song, and then you get the guitar ending to it. But anyways, I can talk forever about the song. It's so fantastic. Won't get fooled again.
Oh, that's a great choice for your number one. My number one's going to be my favorite song from my favorite album, The Who, Sellouts. It's going to be Rael.
Yeah.
Love the song. Everyone.
Closer.
It's the closing. So we could all agree. I feel like we could all get a consensus that the Who could end their albums pretty good. I think we could all agree on that now.
I think they're the band that do the best album closers.
Yeah. Does the Ox close?
The Ox closes the debut album for the UK, My Generation.
Yeah, that's a good closer.
The Ox, a quick one, Rael, See Me, Feel Me from Tommy.
Yeah. Won't Be Fooled Again.
Won't Get Fooled Again. Love Rain or Me.
Yeah.
Who Are You? Come on,
those are great closers.
Oh my goodness! And a lot of those were like top 10 at least. Like a lot of these closers.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go more into Rael. Like Rael starts off in this kind of like this march sound, like ooh, and then it's just like it's such a bizarre song for the Who. But it's so Who-like. It's another one of the towns. This is like at the end. It mentions that a captain is basically, going AWOL kind of. He's crazy if he thinks we're coming back again. He's crazy anyway. And that kind of preludes to Tommy with the. Captain Walker, didn't come home. and there is even a part of the song where it's like dun 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 boom 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 bum 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 bum. And of course, if you know what I'm talking about, that's of course the part of you know Tommy with Sparks. So
Mhm.
it's cool that it's like a prelude to that, and this is just a crazy psychedelic song. This is like, you know, their big psychedelic moment was like the Beatles' big psychedelic moment on Tomorrow Never Knows. This is like their big Tomorrow Never Knows moment for them. It's just crazy and psychedelic, and they've never gotten any more crazier than this. This is like their craziest song in their whole catalog, and it's such a crazy way to end off on the Who sellout. It's oh man, I love it so much.
So
This
is it one of your favorite songs of all time then?
yes, it's in my top 10 favorite songs of all time. It's not my favorite song of all time. That award goes to Teach Your Children by CSMY, but this is definitely up there for sure. But yeah, it's my favorite Who song, Rael.
Kind of look at that Queen Funko
Oh,
news of the world.
Oh yeah, News of the World.
That looks really cool. That.
but yeah, I have two Funko Pops. I have this and Rush's live album, Exit Stage Left.
Oh, okay.
Do they have any Who Funkos?
I don't.
Any Who Funkos?
I don't know. I don't know if they have any album covers.
Yeah, I wonder.
That'd be cool.
I'd like a Who sellout version of it with the
That'd be
beans all over them.
Yeah.
Roger Daltrey in the bath full of baked beans. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So the one we all agreed on was Baba O'Reilly. It sounds like in top 5.
Yeah. It's probably their most well-known song.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
That and Pinball Wizard, probably.
Oh yeah, I think if anybody knows the Who, I would think they would know My Generation, Won't Get Fooled Again, Bob O'Reilly, Pinball Wizard, Who Are You, are probably maybe the 5 that are most played on the radio. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Probably.
I mean, I can see for Miles played a fair amount on the radio. And we even talk about like Magic Bus or, which were non-album hits, Substitute and Pictures of Lily, Kids Are All Right. It really wasn't a song I don't remember really hearing on the radio. But
that's my favorite song on the debut.
I know it was a hit song for them, but I don't remember really growing up who listened to that one. But anyways, yeah.
That's my favorite song from My Generation is either The Ox or The Kids Are All Right. Those are my two favorites from that album. My Generation's a third, my third favorite though. That's guaranteed. But my first and second favorite has always been a toss up, and it's funny because that was the A side and B side was The Kids Are All Right, and The Ox that was the A side and B side. So I don't know if I like the A side better or the B side better. It just depends on what mood I'm in, to be honest. I don't really know which one I would want to pick.
But I'm looking forward to eventually ranking their UK albums.
Yes, which will be 12 albums from
I'm only halfway.
Halfway there. Living on a prayer.
Yeah, you get into the more forgettable albums, to be honest.
Yeah, after Who Are You,
Yeah.
The last 4 albums aren't as good.
Yeah, they just don't have quite the feel of the other ones, but yeah.
Was it not the same when Keith Moon wasn't there?
Yeah, because you lost Keith Moon, and then you lose John Entwistle later. It just, I don't know. It loses a little bit, I think, but they're not terrible albums necessarily, but because I mean Daltrey is definitely the voice of the Who, so at least you still have that, and
yeah, I mean, after Who Are You, I don't think he's as vocally strong as that album. I feel like that was his peak.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like listening to Mardi Gras or listening to Calling All Stations where it just doesn't feel like the band anymore.
Yeah, it's still technically the Who.
Still feels like the Who, but yeah.
Yeah, the first album, My Generation, the second album, A Quick One, Third album, The Who Sell Out. The fourth album, Tommy. The fifth album, Who's Next. Sixth album, Quadrophenia. Seventh, Who by Numbers. Eighth, Who Are You. Number 9, Face Dances. 10th album, It's Hard. 11th album, Endless Wire. And the last Who album, Who. Just Who. Who. So basically, when they were singing that song, Who Are You? They were saying their last album name a bunch of times. Who. Bad joke. But anything else you guys want to say before we close out?
Thanks for having me on the channel again. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yes. How about you, Jason?
Well, I mean, I just did a part 1 of the Who deep dive. I'll do a part 2 soon. So so Who is definitely a band I've been doing a lot of stuff on lately. So it's kind of fits that we're doing top 5 here and be more Who content on my channel as well.
And you'll see my full top 10 in detail when me and Jason do our top 10 on his channel.
Yeah. Repeat a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're also gonna be doing our, like I said, the ranking. Stay tuned later because me and Jason will be we will be reviewing the Kinks' next album, Soap Opera. We haven't talked about the Kinks in a bit, but we'll get right to that. We are in the third of 4 albums of their theatrical period. Still a period for sure for them, but we're gonna get through that period quickly, hopefully. And stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. So long.
Bye.
So long.